Elementary, my dear Einstein. Chapter 9. A Suspicion of Bias. Thus far, I have aimed to demonstrate that the conclusions of science tend to give benefit of the considerable doubt to the ancient philosophies of Pythagoras. We have seen that the heliocentric model is in fact not the new astronomy, as Kepler claimed, but the reincarnation of a 2,200 years old idea. Theories that has not stood the test of time, of natural law, or scripture. Though geocentricity is hardly the core message of the Bible and should not be bickered about by Christians, it does sketch an idea of a caring God who made a special earth for a species in his image. He chose a special nation to seed his Messiah, more or less in the geographical center of the world. The Christian faith is centered on the Son of Man who came to seek and save the lost. It seemed unlikely a creator seeking the lost would situate them on a planet he cannot find. Contrast this with Carl Sagan's summary of Hawking's work, a universe with no edge in space, no beginning or end in time, and nothing for a creator to do. Such extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Up to Isaac Newton, a skeptic of the Catholic views may have concluded reasonably that the Catholic Church has such an abundance of bad ideas, one may take the opposite view in most things and be quite close to the truth. Protestants conflicted with Catholic views on salvation, the papacy, and the authority of Scripture, but they also threw away baptism of babies, mainly because the Catholics does it. Scientists figured if the Church believed in a geocentric world, the heliocentric model has to be better. Thus far, the main want was evidence. Self-evident truth does not require proof, but between Copernicus and Galileo, the heliocentric theory has been hatched and groomed to take over the thinking of scientists and the modern world. The Renaissance was the hatchery, Copernicus the cock, Galileo the guardian, and Kepler ranged the roost. It was a happy time for 185 years in which no experimental evidence interfered with a brand new paradigm. The later period of the Renaissance was called the Enlightenment and was coincidentally punctuated by a rapid increase in the understanding of the properties of light. Though the heliocentric model never got Newton's blessing, neither did the geocentric theory. But